Hey, I'm Jenny. Welcome to your November channeled messages and card reading. This month, a message came through about the violet flame. So I have a lot packed into this video. You are going to get the channeled messages, then an explanation of the violet flame, a violet flame meditation, and then a card reading. And there's chapters, so you can jump to where you want to go, and I hope you enjoy the ride. As always, I think it's best to listen to this reading with your eyes closed. So if you have some earbuds, pop them in, take a breath, close your eyes, and have a listen. It is a good time to work with the violet flame, using amethyst crystals or working with Archangel Zadkiel, the Holy Amethyst, Lady Portia, or Saint Germain. It is a good time to transmute energies. You are in an eclipse portal with eclipse energy, and with an eclipse comes great change. We spoke last time of changes coming and to decide what kind of change you want in your life. The violet flame will burn away lower karma, heaviness, dullness, aches deep in the heart, things holding you back from this life and beyond. And then they kind of took a pause in the messages. So I take this as like kind of I think this is more of the beginning of the month because the eclipse energy starts on October 25th and goes until the November full moon. And so that I think this is like our first part of November, and then the next message is the second part of November. Once the changes have taken place, old habits and stories will be released. It will be time to invite in something new. It will be time for everyone to learn to try something new, no matter their age or how busy they are. Newness is important right now. Ask yourself deep in your heart, what is something you would like to try but never have? What is something that seems fun or interesting? Trying new things, opening yourself up to newness, opens you up to change as a whole, renews your spirit. It is a rebirth in a way. What new idea, new hobby, new place to travel, new book to read, new color to bring into your life? What can you bring in that is new or different? You may find yourself on the spiritual path changing quite a bit, getting rid of things that no longer serve you both physically and spiritually, emotionally. Changing the way you do your hair or the way you do your routine or the things you eat. This is all part of the process, all part of the spiral of finding your center, finding who you truly are. Letting your soul step forward and speak for you and guide you. And so when we invite in newness, it is because it is coming anyway. There is always something new to do or try. But when you invite it in, you consciously shift yourself into rebirth. Even though the earth is getting ready for sleep right now, the souls on the planet are waking up. It is time to let your soul lead. Do something new. Go somewhere new. Try something new. Change up your pattern, your routine. Invite this shift into your life. Okay, so when we look at last month, it was talking about, the messages were talking about spinning change, and there was, bringing in change, that there's already change coming, and purging and shadow rising. And I don't know about you, but I definitely felt that very strongly. I don't know if it's because I'm more sensitive or what, but what happens to me is that some like shadow will rise, some deep realization, and I'll go through it all, and then my body will go through it for like a week. I'll feel inflamed and tired and heaviness. It's like it goes through my soul and emotions first and quicker, and then my body's just slower to recover. So if you're going through that, just notice like cycles in, like when are you getting your headaches or stomach aches or whatever. It's definitely like I feel spiritually the soul, the emotions sometimes go quicker, and then the body holds on to it. There's the whole book about it. The body keeps the score, right? So it's like your body, it takes their body longer to process the trauma, the emotions, the heaviness. So I definitely had a lot of shadow work, a lot of shadows rising. This year, I like to always read a day book, and this year I'm reading Simple Abundance, which is a day book for women, but I feel like anybody can read it. It's written in the 90s, so there's some definite dated information in there. But the whole point of that book is to find your authentic self. And I feel like that's kind of part of the message for this month, is talking about letting that soul self lead you, the spiraling inward to like who you really are. Definitely feel like when we think about the spiritual path, when we think about the hero's journey, like Joseph Campbell talks about, it's definitely more of like a spiral or a labyrinth. There's, we keep going back and circling back into things. And I feel like the whole point is like we keep circling until we get to the very center of who we really are, that soul self, that authentic self. And then it's like we can hopefully relax, not have to do so much work. So the first half of this, talking about the violet flame, which I'm going to get into separately. So I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But the whole point of that is basically like we're being encouraged through this eclipse season, this first part of November. I think I'm going to release this video a little earlier. I record these videos usually, if all goes well, prior to the month beginning. And so I'm going to release this one a little earlier because I feel like this message kind of speaks end of October, early November, first part of. And so I just want to maybe give people a little more time to work with the violet flame and the energies. So I think it's all about this eclipse time. Eclipse energy is huge. And these have been really big for me. My Reiki master also does astrology, the one that taught me to be a Reiki master. And when I was doing my last class with her, she was saying that, this year, these eclipses were going to be a big deal for me because I'm a Taurus, because they've been in Taurus and Scorpio. And definitely feeling the change for the better. I've definitely gotten to a point in my life where I embrace the change, instead of avoiding it or trying to hold on to something stagnant. It's like, bring it on, so that's kind of what the violet flame is, right? It's this idea of continuing into the October energy of bringing in the change we want. And then the second part of the message is about once that stuff's released, now we got to bring in something new to take the place, right? So I like this idea. I got like when I was hearing the message or channeling the message, it's like I saw in my head like people just getting in their car and driving, just taking a different route to work, or people picking out a sweater and a color they wouldn't normally wear, right? It can be really like, it doesn't have to be huge. Like I'm not telling you to like quit your job and move, right? I did that, but you don't have to do that. So it's more like just something subtle, like maybe buying a new produce thing that you've never seen before, like star fruit. You're like, I've never had a star fruit. I'm buying that. Like I said, getting a haircut, picking out a color you wouldn't normally wear, even if it's just like for underwear, right? It's like bringing in a new color into your life, bringing in a new house plant, taking a walk somewhere different, traveling. It's like people with more money and time and privilege can do bigger changes, but at the very least, you can buy a different frozen meal than you normally would, or a different can of soup you want to try, or it can just be really subtle. And I think that that's what kind of the point is like trying something new constantly puts you on a rebirth path, right? So it seems that our souls are journeying through this eclipse season into really just burning off a lot of stuff, releasing a lot of heaviness. Once it's over, then it's going to be like time as a rebirth. So we're going through a death, right? A death of shadows and things that no longer serve us, and ego stories and all kinds of stuff, right? So we're going through this death, which makes perfect sense for the time of year, right? Going through like Samhain and Day of the Dead, where we're talking about the veil being thinner and welcoming ancestor energy and all of that. It makes sense to have like a spiritual death of some sort and then being reborn into light. And I like how it talks about in the messages how the earth is going to sleep, but you're not. Like souls are waking up. And I feel that. I feel like I always feel like October, November feel magical, and I'm always excited. I love Halloween and Christmas time. I love like the holiday seasons. I don't really love Thanksgiving, but that's just me. But I like autumn. Autumn and spring are my favorite times of year. Also being a Taurus, that makes sense. We're most productive at that time. So anyway, having, you know, this, it's like a rebirth. Like, I feel people are just having more energy and wanting to do things, wanting to engage. And I don't know if it's, you know, part of not being able to do things because things were shut down for so long or what, but it seems like people are more wanting to connect, more wanting to get out there and do things. And I think that's really good. So if you're feeling that way, go with it. Usually it's like the advice, and in my class on Udemy about tuning into the earth, the advice usually for fall and winter is to start to go inward and to build in more rest and to kind of not cut yourself off from people, but definitely not, if you're not feeling social, honor that. But it seems like it's not really that, it's not really the energy at the moment. The energy now is more about this newness and this rebirth and this light and getting out there and doing things. So, and if you can't, like, if you're really trying to think, well, what new thing do I want to bring in, or, you know, whatever, it doesn't sound good to me, give it time, because remember, these messages, it's like a 2-part message. So the first part of November is more about releasing stuff and letting go of things, because you have to make room for something new anyway, right? Like, if you didn't, you know, just thinking about your own home, if you didn't like get rid of the old thing before you purchase the new thing or whatever, your home would be just so crowded. So it's just like your spirit, right? Your spiritual house, your body, your home, right? You can't just like put in new things. You know, I'm going to try new meditation, new yoga, and this and that, without, you know, releasing something old, something from the shadow, something from the ego, right? So that's how we're going to, that's all a balance. So if this, you know, idea of bringing in something new isn't resonating now, it probably won't until the 2nd or 3rd week of November, right? We're looking at this in like a 2-part kind of energy message. So that's okay. So, you know, don't worry about that right now. Ask yourself instead, what can I release? What can I let go of? What do I want to transmute? Because that's the energy of the violet flame, which I'm going to get into in a moment. And then after that's all said and done, okay, what do I have room for? You know, what suddenly do I feel like I have room for this in my life, and I want this in my life? Okay, before I go and give you a meditation for the violet flame, I wanted to go over what is the violet flame, little brief background, who are the people mentioned in the channeling, right? Because they may not be familiar to you. So first of all, I want to say that the ideal crystal to work with for a violet flame is amethyst. And no, you don't need such a big piece. I rescued this from Marshall's. I know that's a funny way to say it, but it makes me sad when I see these crystals on sale at like these discount stores, and they put like a glob of glue on them and a price tag, and they're on like these dusty shelves. I don't know. I just always feel like, oh, you poor thing. And I just want to take it home. So that's just me personally. Amethyst is one of my favorite crystals too. But so one way to work with the violet flame is to wear amethyst or bring amethyst into your home, placing it on your heart center or on, you'd need a much smaller piece, on your crown while you meditate, holding it in your left hand, that's your receiving hand while you meditate, sleeping with it under your pillow, any of those things. Okay, so if you have a piece of amethyst, I encourage you to use it this month. And then I wanted to go over the major players with the holy amethyst flame, and then I'll kind of go over it. Well, actually, let me go over the violet flame first. So the violet flame, I'm not exactly sure where it came from. So we have this kind of spiritualist theosophy tradition of spirituality, which is where a lot of the New Age information comes from, a lot of the Ascended Masters information comes from. It comes from channeling from different people, Claire Prophet being one of the big ones, and then Elizabeth Claire Prophet, and then Madame Blavatsky, I think that's how you say it. These people channeled these kind of beings and masters, and there's this belief in spirituality about these different rays of light, and each one goes with different chakras, and then and different flames. So there is a blue flame, and there are different flames. The one I've worked with the most is the violet flame. It came to me a couple of years ago. I received insight into, it was either a card reading or a meditation to work with the violet flame. I worked with the violet flame for 6 months, and it really helped me make a lot of good changes, burn away a lot of old stagnant energy and karma. And working with it too can be very simple. It's like, you can just, I'm going to give you a meditation, but at the very simplest way to work with it is to make sure you're centered, you have cleansed yourself, put a spiritual protection around yourself, and you just simply say, I am the violet flame 3 times. And we're going to do that in the meditation. But that's at the simplest form of working with it. There are lots of different music that you can find on YouTube and on even Spotify and Apple Music, the violet flame energy. Like I said, you can work with the amethyst, and then you can work with one of these beings. So the first is Archangel Zadkiel. He's considered the archangel that's sacred to the violet flame. Like Archangel Michael, he would be sacred to the blue flame. So they have these flames that they are guardians of. And so Zadkiel is the archangel associated with the violet flame. And then supposedly, I say supposedly because I'm not sure, I've never heard of the holy amethyst until this deck from Kyle Gray, which is Keepers of the Light. They are together. Like that would be his archaea, his feminine counterpart. I'm not sure about it, but I definitely like the idea of a spirit guide for amethyst. So I definitely feel like, if you take in my classes, I feel like there's definite energy and crystals are alive. So we have like kind of this spiritual guide for amethyst. So that's who holy amethyst is. And then there are these 2 Ascended Masters. Now, Ascended Masters are interesting because I have a video on it, but basically like some of them were real people. So Saint Germain was supposedly a real person who was an alchemist. And he is someone that was able to figure out how to work with the violet flame and use it to release karma and to become an Ascended Master, which means enlightened and out of the karmic wheel, the wheel of samsara. And so that's who Saint Germain is. And he's interesting to kind of learn about because kind of like, I don't know, alchemy in general I find really interesting. I think a lot of it's more metaphorical, like transmuting what's inside of you to gold, to goodness. And that's what working with the flame is. And then Lady Portia is supposed to be his counterpart. And usually you call on Lady Portia if you're looking for like justice, divine justice to be served. And that's another part of the violet flame, because the violet flame is helping you work through old karma, releasing things, and helping kind of restore justice into your life, like balancing what's good and bad and those kinds of things in your life. So she's another one, and you would pray to her for divine order. But you can see the way they were illustrated with all of the purple and the amethyst, just really driving home that that's their color. Now that color is associated with your crown chakra. And so when we talk about, the violet flame burning away the lower things, it's because, the lower 3 chakras are very grounded and the upper are not. They're more like ethereal and divine and cosmic. And so it's like the violet flame is going to help burn away kind of these old stagnant energies to kind of open you up more to God, the creator, so that you can be more of that force in your life. So that's kind of a little background. And then next I'm going to lead you in a meditation to invite the violet flame into your life. If you have a piece of amethyst in your collection, I encourage you to hold on to it or put it on your heart chakra for this meditation. I encourage you to put in some earbuds or headphones. I also encourage you to lay down on your back for this meditation. If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. But I really feel like that's the kind of best position. So laying on your back with your arms palm up, open, and if you have amethyst either in your left palm or on your heart center, I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath with me and then close your eyes. So take a deep breath, fill up your belly with air, and close your eyes. And let's do that one more time. Taking a deep breath, relaxing the body and the mind. You are here now. The thoughts of the day can go. If they pop up, just let them go. We're focusing on your spirit right now. Thoughts of the mind can be released. We invite your soul forward to lead you through this journey, this meditation. Take another deep breath. And what I want you to do is imagine yourself in a bubble, in an oval, in an egg, in a cauldron, in a flame of violet. It's however you want to imagine yourself, encircled and completely covered in this violet color and energy. It's from your head to your toes, from both sides of your body, your front and your back, just really surrounded in the color violet. And it's kind of this translucent violet. It may sparkle a bit. It may kind of look like amethyst stone in the sunshine, right? Have this beautiful purple hue and sparkle and energy to it. Take a deep breath, really feeling the energy of the color. Feeling that the violet color is surrounding you, but also at the same time inside of your energetic body. Feeling the violet in your heart space and your throat, your third eye, your crown chakra, your ears, palms of your hands. Feeling it in your solar plexus, in your hips, in your pelvis, your root, the soles of your feet. Just really feeling like you're being filled up now from all these different places with this violet energy. Your whole body now is not just surrounded by the violet color, but it's filled up from the inside out, just shining and emanating this beautiful amethyst color. Take a deep breath. And you can either say aloud or in your head, I am the violet flame. I am the violet flame. I am the violet flame. I welcome transmutation. I welcome change. I welcome release. And I let go of all that is no longer serving me. And so it is. And then take another deep breath. Start to come back to yourself, to your body. Feel your body. If you feel like having a little smile, have a little smile. And when you're ready, open your eyes. This is a very simple exercise you can do for as long as you want to do. I think it's really nicely done at night right before bed. And you can just kind of see yourself in this violet energy, repeat those phrases either aloud or in your head, and welcome the change in your life. I think the violet flame really does wonders for us, really transmutes, really gives us different energy. And stick around. I'm going to do a card reading for the month of November. And remember, if you like this, to share with a friend, like, and subscribe. Okay, since we are at the end of October, November, I wanted to use the Sugar Skull deck, Halloween Oracle, and the new Hocus Pocus deck because, well, if you don't know me, I really love Halloween and all things October, November. And so I'm not ready to really give it up yet. And I really feel like the energy goes through anyway. So let's see what we have as some guiding cards from the Halloween Oracle first. These cards are really thick. Looks like 2 came. Okay, we have Skull of Flowers and Death. Okay, so what did we talk about, right? Didn't I just say, like, we're going through kind of a collective death in a way, and that's why we need to work with the violet flame and allow the death of certain things to take place and then have a rebirth. So definitely feel like this is spot on, feeling the death for sure. And then we have Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. I mean, I'm laughing at how spot on this is, right? So collectively, we're going through death right now in the beginning of November. This is the portal energy, releasing all that no longer serves us, transmuting, working with the violet flame, purposely letting go of things. And then after that, what do we want to create? What new things do we want to bring in? you know, and it doesn't even have, like I said, doesn't have to be huge, right? But definitely being encouraged to be creative. So maybe there's a new kind of artistic hobby that maybe you're interested in and feeling like called to or drawn to. And let's see what we have from Hocus Pocus. We have the Eight of Candles. We have the World reversed. We have the Hermit reversed. And we have the Six of Lightning. So one thing is if you are into numbers or you find numbers significant, that's something I always like to look at with tarot especially. So we have a 6 and a 7, which makes me feel like 6 and 7 are going to be important in this month. So, you know, really pay attention to November 6th and November 7th, just in general. Okay, and then we have the bigger cards here. We have the Hermit and the World both reversed. So let's talk about these for a second. So the World is at the end of the tarot. It's when the people become enlightened, and it's like the journey is kind of over. Oh my gosh, my cat is just going crazy on a scratching post right now. So sorry about that. So we're looking at that being reversed, right? So what are we looking at? What are we not seeing? You know, what part of our world is upside down? You know, those kinds of things. So thinking about, you know, change and releasing, you know, at the end of this movie, this is the brother and sister who are dead moving on to the next life. So we have that death imagery as well. But yeah, really being asked, you know, how is your world upside down? What don't you like about your world, and how can you change that? And then the Hermit being reversed I think is great too, because I was saying how usually autumn and winter is very much a time, even though that's when all holidays are, it's very much a time of when people want to withdraw because the earth is going to sleep and darkness is getting stronger and stronger. So usually it's like where we want to go back inward to ourselves and do shadow work. And I think that's the first part of this month. But then I think we're really like not feeling that. We want to get out. We don't want to be hermits, right? We want to feel fun and free and connect with people and be a light and really get out there in the world. So I think that's definitely what that's about. And then I'm going to pause and turn a light on. It just got dark. Hopefully you can see things better now. It's very cloudy here. Okay, so with this Six of Lightning is, you know, being asked to let go of what's no longer serving you. So it's going along with the Death card and really like, you know, letting it go, not in just like a subtle way, but really just like letting it go. And I think that's speeding things up, right? Lightning was very fast. I think that's the idea of working with the violet flame. And this too, these candles are burning down really quickly. This is all about like a fast change. So we're being asked to speed up our process a little bit. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like time and things have sped up really dramatically since 2012, but more so since 2020. Time just feels fast. And so I think that's part of us as a planet rising and ascending, and us on these spiritual paths really holding the light and bringing the light. So this is fast. Let go of stuff, move on, and become those lights, right? So we have that, and then we're going to pull a few from the Sugar Skull tarot deck and see what we get. I'm definitely feeling like this card is wanting to come out. Feeling this one. Let's see what we get. Okay, so first we have Temperance, but she's reversed, right? So Temperance is balance, which is what Lady Portia, she's supposed to bring divine order, divine balance. And so coming out reversed means that we're beginning this month out of balance. And this is why we need to work with the violet flame, right? It's important for us to restore balance in our karma, in our bodies, in ourselves, in our minds. And so before you can start bringing in the new, you got to release the old. And I love that there's a lot of purple in here too. It definitely goes with that. And then we have, actually I think it was like this. We have 5 of Wands and 5 of Cups. So we talked about 6 and 7 being important. Now we have 2 5s. So I'm thinking 5, 10, 15, any kind of multiple of 5, right? And so both of these are about, I mean, if you look, it's like people alone and, you know, feeling downcast, and there's lightning again, and we're just kind of having these moments of like missed opportunities and death and change. So I think it's going back to, for me, what I'm seeing is we have this death which we will be alone for. So the spiritual process of transmuting karma and all of this, the beginning of the month, this portal energies, we're going to be wanting to be alone. We're going to want to go inward, and it's a single process, right? But then what's happening is we are going to want to be a light at that other point, right? After we have transmuted and we have this lightning and these changes and these death that has occurred, we're going to want to start over again, right? We're going to want to bring in the newness and have the spiritual changes and not see things half empty, right? No longer spilling our ideas or spilling our things. We're going to be, you know, instead of being downcast, we're going to change that, right? We're going to start fresh, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I was trying to search for a word, but I think overall we're just being asked to really go within, let things die, transmute, but transmute with like a strong energy, and then be willing to kind of change things, get back to balance and kind of divine order, and then be ready to create, right? Start something new. So I hope this resonates with you. And if you pull cards and you want to look at what you get for the month of November, I'd love to hear that.